Welcome to Chicken Butts BBQ. On today's video, we're doing competition style spare ribs. Today we're going to cook them on our Oklahoma Joe Bronco Pro drum smoker. Alright, welcome guys. Like I said, today we're doing competition spare ribs. So the way we do it when we get into a competition, 98% of the time I'm cooking spare ribs. I like the way St. Louis style spare ribs come out. To me, they're a lot better rib than a baby back. Now there are some competitions that we go to that require us to do baby backs. But a KCBS competition, we'll always do spare ribs. So when I go to the store and I pick out ribs, I'll go through the whole cooler rack. I'll even ask the butcher sometimes if I can look at the ones he has in the back. Because what I'm looking for bones that you can get as straight as you can get. And that's gonna make your cuts better and it'll look a lot better in the box. Now you're gonna have straight bones on a lot of these and they're gonna start fanning out towards the end, but that's just how it goes. You gotta go with what the store can give you. Now, some of these people out there, they're going to get high dollar ribs, but most average people are just going to go to your Walmart or your Kroger or Sam's or, you know, even a food distributor in your area will have some. So, so we're going to go through with our trimming, how we trim them, and then we're going to go through our seasoning all in one deal. So bear with us, and it might be a little long segment, but we're going to go with it. So let's get this thing going. So we're going to get them out. So, and I'll get a paper towel before I even start trimming, and I'll kind of dab if you got a little more blood. A lot of times at a competition, they don't have, you know, water. So you can rinse them off with water if you want to. Some people will. We're fortunate enough in our trailer, we have a sink, so we can go in there and wash them off if we want, but this one's not, you know, too bad and bloody, so it's not too bad at all. Okay, so the first thing I do, I'll come in and I'll try to find my longest bone, and I'll get to the top of that longest bone, and I'm making a straight cut all the way across. And this is all just for presentation. Now you can save these tips right here on these are already quote-unquote St. Louis style, which pretty much are, but we like to cut ours to the top of the bone. So you'll have this little piece of meat right here, and this is just the tail end of the rib meat that comes on top of a spare rib. All right, so then I'll flip this thing around, and you got this little skirt still on here, and you're going to take all that down. And ribs don't take very long to cook or long to trim once you get this thing going. It's not bad at all. So you're going to square it up, because the way you cook this and smoke it, that's how it's going to come. So you're going to find that bone down here at the end. You're going to make a nice straight cut. All right, we're going to go ahead and save that, because that's good eating too at the house. Any little thing on this back side that's hanging off that's probably going to burn, we're going to get rid of that. All right, so once you get that on the back side looks good, you're going to get a dry paper towel, and we're going to take this membrane off. And most of them will come off real good. If you got a good quality rib, it'll come off real easy, you know, and you'll get some that's going to come off in pieces. But that left, you kind of get them off if you got any left. And that's pretty much off. So now, if you got anything else on here that might burn, just kind of take that off. All right, and then I'll flip it over, and you're going to have a nice looking square spare rib. Any kind of junk like this, you know, Sometimes they'll be real thick on the ends, and you trim that off because you want a nice uniform thickness so they all cook pretty much even. All right, so that looks pretty good to me right there. You can trim this as much as you want or as little as you want, but it'll all work out in the long run. Okay, so we have two rubs that we use. Our buddy Eric Lee come up with a product at Fire Dancer Barbecue last year. He's got a SOB PG rub. It's salt, onion, butter, pepper, and garlic. He's got his chicken rub and he's got his pork rub. Very, very good rubs. We'll have a link to his stuff down in the description. So, our first layer is this SOB rub. All right, it's a nice savory rub. So it's a nice little even coat across the back. We kind of pat that in. And then we come back with his pork rub. Nice little medium coat on the back. People always wonder why people do the back of the ribs, but you know, it matters. It's for looks, okay? Now we won't let it sweat in as much as we do the top side. Sorry about the flies, guys. All right, so we flip that thing over. Repeat the process. Got a little bit of mustard. Kind of rub that in. Again, like I said earlier, guys, this mustard is just a binder. You can use, some people use olive oil. You can probably even use water, or, you know, whatever you have available or comfortable. So, nice good little medium coat of this. The SOB rub. And this is exactly what we do at a competition. So I'm not trying to hide, you know, what we're having, what we don't have. Then what we do is we'll let this sweat in for about 10 or 15 minutes. And we'll come back and we'll hit it one more time with one more coat. Okay, it's been about 15 or 20 minutes. These ribs have been sitting out on a cutting board. After I applied the first little coat of rub, we let that sweat in, and sweating it in means it's pulling the moisture out of the ribs. Sorry about the flies again. You can see all that moisture from the rub starting to pull all that moisture out of these ribs. So after about 5 or 6 minutes, we always apply another coat. So we got 2 coats of that Fire Dancer pork rib rub. So now they're ready to go on this smoker. Our smoker's up to about 235, 230, somewhere around in that area. Nice light blue smoke. We set them on there. We always bunch them up at the end, so that way the meat in between those bones kind of stands up a little bit. Because once it sets on here and your rub is set, that's how that rib's gonna come out of that smoker. And we'll let these go every 45 minutes. We'll come back and show you our process on every 45 minutes. All right, guys, we're back. It's been about 45 minutes. Our Oklahoma Joe Bronco Pro, look, she's purring about 225. This is like we like it. So you can see those ribs. They're starting just to get a little dry on top. So about every 45 minutes, we do it twice before we wrap. So what we do, we'll come in a little parquet squeeze butter. Gives it a little bit of richness, and then we come back on. Since we're trying to build layers of flavor, we'll come back on. We'll hit it with a little bit of rub. We'll do that one more time in 45 minutes. And then we'll come back and show you what we do when we wrap. Okay, so our rub is set. And how we wrap ours is we'll take in the full a base layer of the Blues Hog Tennessee Red. It gives that a little kick. We'll take our rib and we go upside down with it. And then we take a layer of the magic butter. And then a little bit of Fire Dancer pork rub. And that's all we put in ours. And then we'll wrap it up nice and tight, and I'll show you that once we get them both wrapped up. Alright guys, so our ribs have been on wrapped about another hour 45, 2 hours at the most. So we should get some good pullback on these bones here. Got good color, it's hot. Underneath these gloves, we got some cotton gloves, so it makes handling these ribs a heck of a lot easier. So you're going to take those out. Nice color right there, nice pullback on the bones. That's all we're looking for right there. That means they're going to be right at the right spot tender-wise. So we're going to put them on this rack. So what we use to sauce them, just like we used Fire Dancer's rub, we have his sauce. Now we cut his sauce just a little bit with a little Cosmos apple cherry habanero. Eric's rub, nice and sweet on the front end, savory through the middle, and it does have a little kick on the back end, but we just like to crank it up just a little bit. So I use these little squirt bottles, and we just squirt it and let it cascade, so that way we don't have any kind of brush marks when we're getting this thing ready. Not too heavy on the smoke. Try to hit the bones and cover them up. Same thing on the other one. These are going to go back on the smoker for about 8 minutes to 10 minutes just to set the sauce. We're not trying to cook them anymore. They're cooked. They're ready to roll. We're just trying to set the sauce. So these are going back on the smoker for about 8 to 10 minutes. Okay guys, our ribs have been on for 8 to 10 minutes just to set the sauce. It's just going to get it nice and tacky. Beautiful color, beautiful glaze. So the only thing left that we got to do is we'll slice them up and box them up. We're going to have another video when we slice these up and box it up. We'll have a video on boxing your competition meat. It's just hard to do that out here with all the flies and all the heat. So we're going to have that. So just a quick recap. On the back side, we cut across the top of the bone just so the bones will stick out and they'll look more uniform in the box. Okay? We rubbed it down with mustard just as a binder. Then we went with the Fire Dancer SOB rub. Alright, that's a little savoriness. Put that on there, and then we followed that up with the Fire Dancer pork rub. Same thing on both sides. Not as heavy on the back side. A little bit thicker on the top side. So once we smoked them for about an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours, we wrapped them. Base layer of Blues Hog Tennessee Red, meat side down in the foil. A little nice little layer of the blue bottle butter. Topped it off with some more Fire Dancer pork rub. Wrapped them up, and they cooked another hour 45, 2 hours, just to come up to temperature about 190, 195. We don't want to fall off the bone. We want to be able to bite it and pull it off the bone ourselves. Once it came up to temperature, then out of the foil onto this rack, we sauced it with Eric's Fire Dancer sauce again. Cut it with a little bit of Cosmos apple cherry habanero. Back on the smoker for about 8 minutes just to set the sauce.